You got all of me in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back. Are you sure I'm in it? You're not holding it on me.
Yeah.
Hold it more that way.
You're all in it.
If you can't see me, it's because my girlfriend's filming like a spaz. But if you can see me, well done. You've managed it. I thought I'd do a different video today. Instead of you being on my head and doing the normal POV stuff, I thought, while I've got my girlfriend here, we'll film a video with you actually looking at me. So someone suggested that I should talk about how I got on with it when I first started driving, and how many times it took to pass and all this and that. So I'm just going to talk about, basically, it took me 3 attempts to pass my driving test. The first time was absolute bullshit, and the second time was absolute bullshit on why I failed. I should have passed first and second time, and I should have failed the time I actually passed. But it took me 3 attempts to pass my theory test. The first time, bear in mind you need 43 points out of 50 to pass your driving test, your theory, and the hazard perception something like 50 out of 75. I passed my hazard perception every single time, but my actual theory test, it took me 3 times. The first time I got 41 out of 50, and you need 43. The second time was a joke. I got 42 out of 50, and literally 1 mark off. I was kicking myself for that. And then the third time, when I actually passed, I got 46. I was kind of disappointed I didn't get 43, so it was like every time I took it, it was an extra one. By the way, we've just been to like this car meet. It's still on. It's still recording. We've just been to this car meet, and there's been about 3 or 4 police cars there, and it was a bit crap because we couldn't do anything because the police were there. Normally, there's people like spinning around and playing music dead loud and just all around being a knob, but none of that because the police were there, so that was a bit crap. But we're going somewhere else now. If it's worth pulling the camera out, I will do, but I've seen the cars and there's not that many decent ones. Or we've got a Bentley in front, just showing a Bentley. That's a wide Bentley, that is. Big, aren't they? May's not talking. Yeah, you can see me, yeah, it's alright.
I can see you.
Just wondering if it's too dark. It should be alright.
You got no faith in me.
So when it comes to my actual driving test, that was basically I took my test, and the first time it was quite snowy. It was like January or February when I took it. I think it was January because I think I passed in February. So it was like 2018. Yeah, 2018. It could have been December actually, 2017, but either way, I took my test and it was snowing the night before, and so all the snow was sat on the floor and on the pavement and all that, and I thought my test was going to get cancelled. I even got a text saying they might cancel your test, so be prepared for that. So I was a bit disappointed at that, but I ended up, he's nearly crashed. Fucking hell, look out. Oh my god, you see that?
You can't see it now.
That Bentley driver's a bit of a knob.
You obviously can't.
Yeah, I didn't do anything like that on my test. I didn't fail for that. So essentially, when I was taking my test, it was quite snowy, and I got to like this roundabout. Everything was fine until this point when I failed. I got to this roundabout, and it was it's like a blind roundabout, so you go around and you can't see what's around you. And so I got to this point where it was going down, and the lights changed to red all of a sudden, and I didn't see it until the last second. Oh yeah, it's this lane. I didn't see it until the last second, in which case I absolutely slammed on. Oh, they're getting out, film this.
Sam, get out of the way! Sam, get out of the way!
I will, but
get out of the way now!
I don't know what you want me to do. Huh?
Oh, it's Thingy from the meet.
Who?
It's him from the meet who we were following on the way here.
Yeah, I know it is.
He'll go in.
What's that all about?
He's coming.
juicy.
Thought, look at the mocha light, I'm done with this. Dickhead.
Mark, I don't give a fuck. Anyway.
The person in the Bentley cannot drive. Yeah, you will flash yours, you idiot.
Back to where we were.
Sam.
Back to that, after all that drama. So, basically, I got to like this roundabout and the lights changed to red all of a sudden, and then I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to slam on here, because if I go through a red light, I failed, I know that. And so I slammed on, and because when I was taking my test, what I got told to do when you emergency stop is take it out of gear. And so what I did was, because it was driving a manual, obviously, I learned how to drive in a manual, and then I got the auto. But so I slammed on and I took it out of gear, and I lifted my handbrake up, and I was like, okay, got away with it, fine, we might still pass. And so basically it was on a hill as well, and so when I got to that point where the lights changed back again, I didn't put it back into gear, and so I started to roll back. And
green, go.
Face it all that way.
Green means go.
I know, face it all that way.
Face it what way?
Towards me, you're facing like over there.
No, I'm not.
It looks like you are anyway. But anyway,
He has no faith in me.
and so I never put it back in gear, so I had to roll. I rolled back, but I slammed my foot back on the brake and then put it back in gear, and I thought, oh shit, because the woman had to press her on hers, even though I'm positive I got to my brake before she did. She failed me for that, and then to add insult, she failed me as well because I wasn't looking at zebra crossings when there was people trying to cross. It was a town where loads of old people are, you know, like people with Zimmer frames and stuff, and they just hang and loiter around the different parts of the city and the town, and so they looked like they were crossing, but they weren't, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, you just failed me for that, and I didn't even deserve to get failed for that. So that one, I just got two majors apparently, and I got failed for that. So about a month or so later, I went in for it again, and I should have passed that time, but the second time I took my test, I'm trying to concentrate. Everything was absolutely fine until I got to this one big roundabout, and this roundabout was like, it's a horrible roundabout. It's got like 6 different lanes and 6 different exits. It's one of them huge ones with traffic lights and everything. And so I got to this point, and I was at the red light, and the instructor he says to me, right, I want you to go into the M1 lane. Now bear in mind it's a dual carriageway, so there's two different lanes for the M1. It said like M1 and then like B600 or whatever the road name is, and then it just said M1. And so because he told me to get into the M1 lane, I went into the M1 lane, but the M1 lane was the one on the right, and you're told when you're driving or when you're learning that you're meant to stay on the left at all times unless you're overtaken. And so I went into the right lane, which was the M1 lane, because that's all he told me to do. I didn't go into the M1 B600 lane, which I should have gone into, but he didn't say that. And so when I got to that point, I was in the right hand lane for pretty much all the way down the road, and because he told me to turn back into the left hand lane after I was driving down the lane in the right hand lane, he was like, right, I'm ever so sorry, but I'm gonna have to fail you on that one, because if I was to pass you now, you'd drive all the way to Cardiff in the right hand lane, and then you'd cause a massive back up on this and that. And I was like, I was doing the speed limit, so I was like, why does it matter? I was in the right hand lane, it literally doesn't matter. But yeah, he failed me for that one, and even my driving teacher was like, yeah, you definitely should have passed that time, that was some BS. Can I lay out this or not? And so I was a bit annoyed at that one, and so when it come to like the third time, when I actually did pass, I didn't get any majors obviously, because one major in it you failed, but I got like 8 minors, and you're only allowed like two or three of the same minor and it's a fail, or like 15 minors in total, and I got 8. And so I was like, oh god, I've definitely not passed if I failed the last 2 times. I've drove like crap this time. And then the bloke was like, right, I got a bit scared because it was raining that day as well, and I was behind this guy on a dual carriageway, and he was doing like 65, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll overtake him. But I got very close to not overtaking him because I thought I don't want to get done for speeding or anything like that. And so I overtook him, and he was like, right, if you didn't overtake, I would have failed you because you were getting too close to the car in front because it was wet for the stopping distance and all that. So I overtook, and then that was it. Passed my test. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The time you think you're gonna pass, you don't, and then the time you think you're gonna fail, you end up passing. So yeah, it's just such law, innit? But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. I don't know how long we're recording. 10 minutes. It's so easy to talk bollocks. I'm so good at making YouTube videos. I can make a 30-second video into an hour. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this different style of thingy bob or talking. I'm nearly at this place, so if it's worth pulling the camera out, I will pull the camera out. We're nearly at 500 subscribers. By the time this video goes up, we might even be at 500. So I've gained like 15 in the past day, which is like crazy. So it's gonna wrap it up for this one, and hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully you could see me, and Maya wasn't filming.
Yes, you can.
Maya wasn't filming too badly. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you want to see. I reply to all my comments, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
See ya.